There are stories that were erased by empires, silenced by conquerors, and buried under the sands of time. Yet some secrets refuse to vanish, as if an invisible force has chosen to preserve them. Among the ruins of Babylon, a city once crowned as the beating heart of human civilization, there lingers the whisper of an angel who never left. His name is Cassiel, the Angel of Time. Unlike the warriors of heaven who wield swords and fire, Cassiel wields silence, patience, and the eternal flow of time itself. He does not appear in grand visions or thunderous revelations. Instead, he remains unseen, watching centuries collapse, dynasties fall, and temples sink into dust, ensuring that certain truths are never lost entirely. Babylon was not merely a kingdom of brick and stone. It was a realm where humans sought to decode the heavens, to measure the stars, and to capture the rhythm of existence itself. To rule Babylon was to claim power over knowledge, over language, and even over destiny. But such a city could not be left to the mercy of invaders and fire alone. If the secrets of Babylon were to vanish forever, then a part of humanity's divine memory would be erased with it. This is where Cassiel, the Angel of Time, revealed his purpose, not by intervening in wars, but by guarding what should survive. Tonight, as you listen to this story, you are not just hearing about an ancient angel or a fallen city. You are stepping into a hidden current of time that still flows beneath our world. Perhaps you have felt it before. A strange pull when you gaze at ruins, a deep sense of recognition when you read of forgotten civilizations, an echo inside your soul that whispers, "You have been here before." That is the mark of Cassiel's presence. He does not show himself, but he allows fragments of memory to reach those who are ready. And maybe, just maybe, that includes you. This is not a tale of fantasy. It is a remembrance. The Babylonians believed that time was not simply passing moments, but a living force, a divine river that carried meaning. Cassiel embodies that river. His presence means that what once was may resurface when the world is prepared to receive it again. The fall of Babylon was not the end. It was the concealment of truths meant to sleep, waiting for the right souls to awaken them. You are here because you feel that call, because something in you knows that time does not destroy, it transforms. Before we continue, I invite you to take part in this journey not only with your ears, but with your spirit. Write in the comments, "I awaken to the secrets of time." Do not write it lightly. Write it with intention, with the certainty that your words are more than text on a screen. They are a declaration to the universe, a signal to Cassiel himself that you are ready to see what others ignore. For those who speak it, a subtle shift begins, the feeling that you are not watching a story, but remembering one. And so, let us begin. Cassiel, the Angel of Time, who walks in silence and carries no weapon but eternity itself, waits to reveal why the secrets of Babylon could never die. Among the celestial beings that humanity remembers, some names resound with power and light. Michael, the protector and warrior. Raphael, the healer and guide. Gabriel, the messenger who announces divine truths. Their roles are known, their images painted and sung for centuries. Yet beyond them exists a figure who rarely appears in stories, who hides in the margins of sacred texts, whose silence speaks louder than any trumpet. That figure is Cassiel, the Angel of Time. He is not a herald, nor a warrior, nor a healer. He is a witness. He embodies the stillness between one heartbeat and the next, the pause before destiny reveals itself. Cassiel is the guardian of what must endure, even when the world believes it has been lost. In the Jewish mystical traditions, Cassiel is described as the ruler of Saturn, the slow-moving planet that represents patience, cycles, and the inescapable passage of time. Unlike the fiery angels who descend with dramatic force, Cassiel descends like a shadow. His presence is rarely felt in miracles or in battles. Instead, he appears in the quiet persistence of things that refuse to vanish, an inscription that survives fire, a monument that resists erosion, a memory that returns uninvited. Cassiel's nature is endurance, and his task is preservation. To understand him is to understand that time itself is not destruction, but guardianship. Because of his association with Saturn, many feared Cassiel. Saturn was seen as a planet of endings, restrictions, and judgment. To invoke Cassiel was to face the truth of mortality, to remember that nothing escapes the hands of time. Yet those who looked deeper realized that his apparent severity was in fact protection. For what is time, if not the only force capable of guarding treasures against the arrogance of empires? Kings may burn libraries, armies may scatter nations, but time, when guided by Cassiel, hides what must be hidden, carrying it forward to another age. He is not the angel of war or healing, but of continuity. When we speak of Cassiel, we speak of an angel who avoids the noise of recognition. Unlike Gabriel, he does not step into palaces to deliver revelations. Unlike Michael, he does not cut down the wicked with a sword. Cassiel remains unseen, almost forgotten, precisely because that is his way. His silence is deliberate. His invisibility is his strength. For secrets too bright would be devoured by greed, but secrets preserved in silence can pass safely through the centuries. He is the angel of the unnoticed, the guardian of all that must not be erased. Think of him as the keeper of a great cosmic archive, one that does not exist in buildings or scrolls, but in the folds of time itself. Each truth, each memory, each fragment of wisdom that mankind has abandoned, yet was too sacred to lose. Cassiel has carried it forward, sealed in silence. And when the appointed moment arrives, those fragments resurface, sometimes as ruins uncovered, sometimes as texts rediscovered, sometimes as whispers in dreams. Cassiel does not rush, because time does not rush. He waits for the right souls in the right age to find what was never truly gone. To speak of Babylon is to speak of a city that was more than walls, palaces, and ziggurats. It was a world in itself, a convergence point where heaven seemed to touch the earth. Rising from the Mesopotamian plains, Babylon carried a reputation that transcended kingdoms, a city of power, but also of forbidden wisdom. Its kings may have boasted of conquests, yet its true greatness lay in something more subtle, the pursuit of the divine patterns hidden within the cosmos. The Babylonians studied the stars not for beauty, but for command, believing that fate itself could be mapped in the constellations above. They built observatories, devised calendars, and recorded omens with meticulous care, as if every night sky was a sacred manuscript waiting to be read. In Babylonian temples, priests and priestesses carried rituals that combined astronomy, mathematics, and spiritual invocation. The great ziggurats, stairways of brick reaching into the heavens, were not merely architectural marvels. They were instruments of alignment between the mortal and the eternal. Within these towers, they believed the gods descended, whispering truths to those who dared to listen. Knowledge of time, cycles, and hidden forces became a weapon as powerful as armies. Whoever mastered it could not only rule lands, but bend the future toward their will. This was the secret power of Babylon. It was a city built upon the conviction that destiny could be studied and perhaps even reshaped. Yet, as with all centers of wisdom, Babylon attracted both reverence and fear. To outsiders, it was seen as excessive, decadent, even dangerous. Its libraries brimmed with clay tablets that contained not just trade accounts, but hymns to the stars, coded rituals, and calculations that defied the understanding of simpler nations. Some whispered that Babylon held knowledge not meant for human hands, truths delivered by celestial beings who visited in dreams and visions. These were the secrets that, if destroyed, would leave humanity blind. And so, when conquerors came, their torches were not aimed only at walls and gates, but at scrolls, temples, and records. To erase Babylon was to erase its dangerous wisdom. But Babylon, as history shows, could not be erased entirely. Even after its fall, fragments survived. Tablets buried under rubble, myths carried by exiles, astronomical data that found its way into distant cultures. It was as though someone had deliberately scattered pieces of its soul across the centuries. This is where Cassiel's presence is most deeply felt, for the Angel of Time does not allow a complete silence. He permits ruin, yes, but never obliteration. He ensures that enough remains so that when humanity reaches a certain maturity, the echoes can resurface. That is why, even today, we still find ourselves haunted by Babylon through scripture, legend, or archaeological wonder. Babylon's mysteries endure because they were never just human achievements. They were part of a larger covenant, a pact between time and eternity. And within that pact, Cassiel's task was clear. Let Babylon fall as a city, but never as a memory. The stones may crumble, the empires may vanish, but the wisdom seeded there must be preserved for those who can truly see. For the Babylonians, time was not merely a measure of days passing, nor the ticking of unseen clocks. Time was alive, a divine rhythm pulsing through the universe, governing the rise and fall of kings, the planting of fields, and the movements of stars. To them, each moment was a thread in a tapestry woven by gods, and to read the heavens was to glimpse the pattern hidden within that fabric. This vision of time was not linear, but cyclical, a spiral that returned upon itself, repeating, teaching, testing. The great ziggurats were not simply towers of brick. They were stairways through which mortals tried to step into eternity, aligning themselves with the rhythm of cosmic time. And in the silence above these towers, Cassiel, the angel of time, watched, waiting to preserve what mortals might forget. Cassiel embodies the enigma of time itself. He is not the angel of beginning or end, but of continuity. Where humans see time as a devouring beast, he reveals it as a patient guardian. To him, centuries are seconds, and empires rise and collapse like waves breaking upon an infinite shore. His presence is the reminder that nothing is ever truly lost, only hidden, waiting to resurface when the cycle turns again. The Babylonians sensed this truth, and in their calculations, their astronomy, and their rituals, they sought to harmonize themselves with the eternal rhythm that Cassiel personified. The water clocks and star charts of Babylon were more than tools. They were prayers in material form. Each drop of water measuring an hour, each star observed against the horizon, was an act of devotion to the flow of time. Yet while humans sought to measure it, Cassiel remained its embodiment, ensuring that time itself remained the most faithful keeper of secrets. Knowledge too dangerous for the present would not vanish. It would simply be placed into the vault of centuries, where it would sleep until humanity was ready. This is the paradox of Cassiel. He does not reveal, yet he does not destroy. He conceals in order to preserve. Even today, we wrestle with the enigma of time, sensing that it is more than a line stretching endlessly forward. Dreams that feel like memories of other lives, moments of déjà vu, the sense of being pulled toward ancient places with no logical reason. These are fragments of that same mystery. They are whispers of Cassiel's domain, reminders that time does not merely flow, but encircles us, binding us to histories we believe are gone, but that remain alive in hidden ways. To feel the presence of time in this way is to brush against Cassiel's wings, even if we never see his face. Time is the greatest riddle because it appears to erase, yet secretly preserves. It strips away empires, yet protects the truths buried beneath their ruins. It devours bodies, yet carries forward the essence of what matters most. And in this enigma, Cassiel stands as both guardian and guide, ensuring that no wisdom destined for humanity can ever be fully consumed by the march of centuries. What seems to have disappeared is often only waiting for those who have eyes to see and souls prepared to remember. When Babylon fell, many believed its wisdom had been extinguished in fire and conquest. Temples collapsed, libraries were plundered, and its sacred towers were left in ruins. Yet history tells another story, one that speaks not of annihilation, but of fragments carefully scattered, as though someone ensured that nothing of true importance would ever be entirely lost. This is Cassiel's work. The Angel of Time does not shield the world from destruction, but he ensures that the flames of war cannot consume everything. He hides pieces of truth in places where centuries cannot reach, waiting for the right moment when those pieces will emerge again. What then was preserved? Clay tablets covered in cuneiform survived beneath rubble, their marks enduring long after their scribes had vanished. These tablets, once forgotten, later revealed astronomical calculations of breathtaking precision, proof that Babylonian scholars had mapped the heavens with methods that would echo in Greek, Persian, and even modern sciences. Ritual hymns and incantations, once whispered in temple chambers, were passed down orally and transformed into myths that still shape our collective imagination. Stories of a great flood, tales of divine councils, and visions of cosmic order. All of these survived not as isolated legends, but as threads woven into the mythologies of future civilizations. Some secrets endured in subtler ways. The study of cycles, the understanding that time moves not as a line but as repeating seasons, was preserved in mystery schools and esoteric traditions. Long after Babylon's fall, traces of its astrological knowledge appeared in Persian Zoroastrianism, Jewish mysticism, and later in the Hermetic philosophies of the West. To many, these survivals seemed coincidental, but under Cassiel's watch, coincidence is rarely just chance. His role is to weave continuity across centuries, ensuring that what humanity is not ready to understand will remain veiled, but never obliterated. There are discoveries that baffle scholars even now. Texts buried under sands, protected as if deliberately sealed away, show no signs of being touched for millennia, yet appear before us almost intact. Ruins align with celestial bodies in ways too precise to be explained by accident. Knowledge once thought lost reappears in different corners of the world, spoken by cultures that had no contact with one another. These are echoes of Babylon, preserved not by accident, but by design. And behind that design, we find Cassiel's silent hand. Even today, fragments of Babylon live in us. Our calendars, our division of hours and minutes, our fascination with the stars, all trace their roots back to that ancient city. More than inventions, they are inheritances. Cassiel ensured they survived so that humanity, centuries later, could continue the work of deciphering time itself. To study these fragments is to realize that Babylon never truly died. Its soul was scattered, preserved like embers hidden under ash, waiting for those bold enough to fan them into flame. Cassiel's guardianship makes sure that when humanity seeks answers, the echoes of Babylon are always there, waiting to be remembered. The story of Babylon is not only one of splendor, but also of envy, fear, and relentless attempts at erasure. Great empires rose and fell with one ambition in common: to silence the voice of Babylon. The Persians, under Cyrus, swept through its gates with promises of tolerance, yet behind the politics lay the intention to absorb and weaken its influence. The Greeks, under Alexander, admired its grandeur, but dismantled its essence, scattering its knowledge into fragments reinterpreted for their own purposes. Later, the Romans mocked it as a symbol of decadence and corruption, using its image not to preserve truth but to serve their own narratives of moral superiority. Each conqueror sought not just to rule its people, but to erase the dangerous possibility that its wisdom could outlast their empires. Why such determination to destroy? Because Babylon represented more than bricks and mortar. It was a living testament that knowledge could rival power. Its scholars could chart the stars, its priests could interpret destinies, and its kings wielded authority not only through armies, but through an understanding of time itself. To rival Babylon was to confront the unsettling truth that empires may fade, but wisdom endures. Conquerors feared this endurance. They feared that a city aligned with cosmic rhythms could not truly be defeated. And so, they aimed their fury not only at walls, but at memory itself. Libraries were set aflame. Temples were desecrated. Clay tablets were shattered, scattered, or buried in haste. Sacred rituals were outlawed or rewritten. The conquerors knew that to kill a city, one must kill its story. And yet, despite their efforts, fragments always survived. They underestimated the patience of time, and they overlooked Cassiel, the invisible guardian. Where their torches sought annihilation, his silence offered preservation. Where their armies trampled stone, his hand veiled secrets in shadow. Each attempt at destruction only proved the need for his guardianship. Some even believed that Babylon's fall was divinely ordained, a punishment for arrogance. But others whispered that forces beyond mortal comprehension wanted its wisdom hidden. not destroyed, hidden so it could not be abused, preserved so it could re-emerge when the world was ready. Cassiel, bound not to nations but to eternity, ensured that the work of conquerors was never absolute. They could scorch the earth, but they could not erase time. They could silence voices, but they could not silence the echo carried across centuries. In truth, the very empires that sought to erase Babylon have themselves vanished, remembered only in fragments of stone and text. Meanwhile, the mysteries of Babylon, its stars, its myths, its echoes, still live, carried forward by Cassiel's silent watch. This is the great irony. Those who tried to destroy ensured, by their violence, that preservation became necessary. And in this necessity, the angel of time revealed his strength. For history does not belong to those who burn, but to those who endure. Cassiel's guardianship did not end with the fall of Babylon. His silence did not fade into the ruins, nor did his purpose vanish when empires collapsed into dust. Time does not belong to one age, and neither does Cassiel. His presence threads through centuries, preserving what must endure until the world is prepared to see it. If he once walked through the shattered streets of Babylon, he now moves just as quietly through our own world. Every age has its secrets, and every generation faces the question, what are we meant to remember, and what are we meant to forget? In this question, Cassiel remains the silent arbiter. In the present age, we live under the illusion that technology has given us mastery over time. We store our memories in machines, we measure seconds with atomic precision, and we imagine that nothing can be lost. Yet, as history proves, even the most advanced civilizations can collapse, leaving behind only fragments. Cassiel knows this, for he has seen it before. He watched Babylon rise in brilliance and fall into ashes, only to leave behind traces strong enough to survive thousands of years. He knows that what we believe indestructible can be erased in a single moment. And so, even now, he preserves what must not vanish, though we rarely recognize his hand. Perhaps you have felt this presence in your own life, a strange dream that seems older than your memory, a fascination with ancient places that feels less like curiosity and more like recognition. A sudden awareness of patterns that repeat, as if history is circling back to remind us of something we once knew. These are not accidents. They are signs of Cassiel's guardianship. He awakens fragments in the minds of those who are ready, allowing knowledge long hidden to surface again, not through dusty tablets alone, but through living souls. He preserves wisdom not only in ruins, but in people. In our era, whispers of Babylon emerge once more. Archaeologists unearth tablets that speak of cosmic cycles, texts that reveal a depth of astronomical understanding once thought impossible. Myths resurface that carry uncanny parallels to modern discoveries. And individuals across the world report visions, intuitions, and connections that suggest humanity is being prepared for a revelation. These are not coincidences, they are alignments. Cassiel has waited, as he always waits, until the rhythm of time signals that what was once concealed can now be unveiled. His guardianship is not bound to the past. It stretches into the future. Cassiel does not preserve for nostalgia, but for awakening. The secrets of Babylon were never meant to remain buried forever. They were seeds planted in the soil of time, destined to grow again in the right season. That season may be approaching now. The question is whether humanity will recognize it. For Cassiel's role is not to force revelation, but to protect its possibility. He ensures that when the appointed time comes, nothing essential has been lost. And if you are listening to this story now, it may be because you are among those meant to see what others cannot. How do we know when the guardianship of Cassiel is at work? How can we sense that the secrets of Babylon, long hidden in the folds of time, are stirring once again? The answer is not always found in ruins or libraries, but within us. Cassiel does not shout, nor does he reveal himself in grand displays. Instead, he awakens memory in subtle ways, through signs that seem small but strike the soul with a force that reason cannot explain. Those who feel these signs are often uncertain at first, but with time they realize they are being drawn into a larger rhythm, one that has echoed since Babylon and continues still. One sign is the sensation of déjà vu, the strange certainty that you have lived this moment before. It is as if time folds back upon itself, revealing that life is not a straight road, but a circle, and that within the circle truths repeat until we finally see them. This sensation, unnerving and mysterious, is Cassiel's way of reminding us that the past is never dead. It lingers, waiting to be remembered. To experience déjà vu is to brush against the veil of eternity, where Cassiel stands watching. Another sign is the pull toward ancient civilizations, especially Babylon. Many feel an unexplainable attraction to its ruins, myths, or symbols. Even without studying history, they sense familiarity, as though they had once walked those streets, climbed those ziggurats, or gazed at the same night sky as its priests. This is not imagination, it is resonance. Cassiel plants echoes within us, whispers that awaken when the time is right. If you feel called to ancient places, it may be because part of you already belongs to them. Dreams are also vessels of awakening. Some dream of deserts, towers, or stars that shine brighter than memory allows. Others hear voices speaking in languages they do not know, but somehow understand. These are not ordinary dreams. They are fragments carried through the corridors of time, allowed by Cassiel to surface when the soul is ready. They are reminders that the past is not gone but alive, flowing parallel to our lives like a hidden river. To dream such dreams is to drink from that river, if only for a moment. And then there are the inner realizations, the sudden understanding that time is not linear, that life is part of a greater pattern. Some feel it while staring at the night sky, others while standing in silence among ruins. Still others in moments of deep reflection, when they sense that their own struggles are part of cycles much larger than themselves. This awakening is not given to all, but to those who are prepared to carry fragments of truth forward. Cassiel does not force this knowledge. He allows it to find those whose hearts are tuned to hear. If you recognize these signs, if déjà vu haunts you, if ancient myths call to you, if dreams reveal forgotten places, then you may already be part of Cassiel's guardianship. You may be one of those chosen to carry the preserved secrets of Babylon into the present age. For the angel of time awakens not through noise, but through resonance. He does not break history open. He opens us, one soul at a time, until the truth hidden for millennia can live again through human memory. Babylon may have fallen as a city, its towers broken and its libraries reduced to ash, but its spirit has never truly died. In every fragment uncovered, in every myth that survived exile, and in every dream that stirs within us, the pulse of Babylon still beats. This endurance is not chance, nor is it merely the stubbornness of stone. It is the quiet guardianship of Cassiel, the angel of time, who ensures that no truth meant for humanity can ever vanish completely. His silence has been our inheritance, for through silence he has carried secrets forward, waiting for the right souls to awaken them. If you have felt resonance while hearing this story, it is not simply curiosity. It is recognition. Recognition that within you lies the memory of civilizations long past, and that Cassiel's work touches you directly.
For he does not only preserve artifacts in the earth, he preserves truths within living hearts. Each listener, each seeker, becomes part of his guardianship. By remembering, by seeking, by refusing to let the past be erased, you align yourself with the same current of time that once flowed through Babylon's temples. To awaken to this current is to realize that you are not separate from history. You are its continuation.
The great irony is that those who tried to erase Babylon are forgotten, while Babylon itself endures. The kings who ordered fires, the generals who toppled walls, the priests who rewrote stories, their names have faded into obscurity, but the myths, the star charts, the symbols of Babylon remain. Cassiel teaches us this lesson. Time devours arrogance, but it preserves truth. No matter how violently humans attempt to silence it, truth has an eternal guardian. This is why Babylon still speaks, and why you are hearing its echo now. So what are we to do with this knowledge? We cannot walk the streets of Babylon as they once were. We cannot stand before its ziggurats in their full glory. but we can recognize that its essence lives within us. We can listen to the signs, honor the fragments, and embrace the awakening that Cassiel stirs in those who are ready. To live with this awareness is to understand that our lives, too, are threads woven into a larger tapestry, one that stretches beyond nations, beyond empires, beyond centuries. To live with this awareness is to step into the flow of time itself. Before we part, I invite you once more to make this remembrance your own. Write in the comments, "I awaken to the secrets of time." Do not write it casually. Write it as a declaration, a vow, a signal to the universe that you choose to carry the preserved flame. For every word written is not just a comment, but an act of alignment, a way of stepping into Cassiel's guardianship. Together, those who declare it form a hidden chain across the world, a silent brotherhood of remembrance. The story of Cassiel is not just the story of Babylon. It is the story of time itself, and of humanity's refusal to forget what is sacred. And now, as you leave this tale, ask yourself, what secret has time preserved in you? For perhaps the greatest treasure Cassiel has guarded is not in ruins or tablets, but within your own soul, waiting for the moment you are ready to see.